Thank you. My name is Jeff. I am the Vice President of Sales at Audience Express, and it's within that capacity that I've spent the last couple years meeting with a lot of our agency partners and discussing, obviously, not only our company, but also automation and programmatic television. So I want to take a quick second and say thank you to Steve Smith and his team here at the MediaPost for putting on and giving us all another opportunity to come together as an ecosystem, kind of move this industry forward with conversations and open dialogue. You know, this is another great conference that they've put on, and for me, my first experience with the MediaPost was I was down in Amelia Island earlier in the year and was just struck by how strong of a conference it was. Traditionally, I'd been at some other conferences where the people who were on panels and having conversations weren't the people who were in the mix, had their sleeves rolled up, and actually doing the work. So what I found with this panel, and I found originally with Amelia Island, was that it was people who were in the space doing the work, making decisions based on what their learnings were. So again, wanted to say thank you. As I mentioned, after the Amelia Island event, I went back and met with our marketing team, and we decided we wanted to have be a little bit more supportive and offer a little bit more support to the MediaPost. And obviously, as part of that support, we're able to sit and talk to you guys today. Now, I fully understand that this is a lunch conversation, but we're trying to keep it as casual as we can. And when we were kicking around the ideas on how we wanted to best utilize this time for our company, we decided not to do the traditional Audience Express story, the 101, the kind of capabilities conversation. What we decided to do instead is talk a little bit about who we are, where we sit in the industry today, and where both are going in the future. But as I said, right now, it's a tough time, it's lunchtime, people are doing a lot of different things. So if there's anything I can do to help you guys pay a little bit more attention, if there's anything I can do to kind of make sure that we're yes, thank you. So when we're done, I'll come down, and you got your pride. I don't have Canadian dollars, it's American dollars, but still, it's still great. Thank you. I'm like Gallagher up here with props, but you got to do what you got to do. So ultimately, when the conference opened on Monday, there's a great conversation between Catherine and Joe. And then following that, there was a nice panel talking about programmatic television. And it seems to be obviously a theme here the last 48 hours on definitions and defining it. And it's obviously that's what we hear in the space every day. There's one school of thought that thinks it's a complete misnomer due to the fact that obviously it's not the exact same thing that it is in digital. There's another school of thought that says, hey, you know what? As of today, it's kind of a catch-all bucket for companies that are utilizing automation and have the ability to apply some kind of advanced data. So we kind of just want to level set it, leaving inventory planned and bought with the using automation on impression-based, with being able to apply any kind of advanced data to promote, to have and provide value and operational efficiency for both the buying and selling side. That's great, and it's nice to have a nice definition, but ultimately, what we want to understand is what are the benefits? Because automation, for the sake of automation, is not a true value add. What's the value of automation? So a lot of times, at Audience Express, after we initially have a conversation with an agency, we'll go in after a couple campaigns that kind of run through our platform and follow back up and say, what'd you learn? Were there any added value? Was there anything benefits to it? And typically these benefits fall into two big buckets that I'm going to touch on right now: speed and efficiency. As it relates to speed, due to our direct connect, automated direct connect to our inventory partners, we're able to turn around plans very, very quickly based on the specifications either informed by data or kind of Burger King method of agencies having it their way. And on top of that, we're able to not only provide plans, but these are plans that are reserved based on the insights we have with our inventory partners. The second point, as it relates to speed, is the ability for us to provide next-day impression delivery reporting. So if you're an advertiser, an agency, you can look in our dashboard, and the very next day, see what networks, day parts, ISKI, however you want to understand how a campaign is pacing. This is important not only to inform results, but to do any kind of attribution that you may want to do on top of it. And the third point that we hear about a lot of times from our agency partners as it relates to speed is transaction deadlines. Basically what I'm saying here is that we can get people on and off pretty quickly for television. 3 business days we can get you on, 5 business days we can get you off. The second point and bucket that we typically hear is efficiency. Now, it's not just efficiency in CPM. What we typically hear back is operational efficiencies. What do I mean by this? I basically mean that since Audience Express has automated the full back end, we're the ones who are basically a one-stop shop for the planning, trafficking, the invoicing. What's been communicated back to us is that these operational efficiencies have helped agencies act a little bit faster internally and act as an agent on behalf of their clients with just a little bit more speed. Now, it's great that we're communicating back to us that there's some benefits, but none of that really matters unless our clients and agencies also understand how those benefits are being achieved. What we're talking about here is obviously a theme that we've heard for the last 48 hours, and we'll continue to hear, hopefully, for the next few years as this industry continues to grow, and it's transparency. When we talk about transparency, it's one of those things when we go sometimes and sit and talk with an agency that maybe we haven't activated with yet, and they're an agency that's kind of kicking the tires on automation or programmatic or advanced TV in general. A lot of times at the end of this meeting, after we do our 101 and talk about our features and benefits and have a conversation, somebody in the room will raise their hand and say, hey, if you were us and you were kicking the tires on the space a little bit here, what are some of the questions we should be asking? What's some of the questions you'd ask? So we took the liberty of putting those on paper. They're actually at some of your tables now, but just wanted to run through these pretty quickly for you. The first question, it's something Walt was touching on in the panel earlier today, was how do you access your TV inventory? This should be very, very clear and very, very clean for an agency and advertiser to be able to communicate. Is it direct? Is it indirect? If there's intermediaries involved, what value are they providing? Second point is, how do you provide in-flight and post-campaign reporting? Obviously, at Audience Express, we believe in next-day impression delivery reporting, and we have a dashboard that illustrates that. But on top of it, we believe that for companies like ourselves that are aggregating local avails, we need to also illustrate that these are fully national, and by that, we provide DMA-level reporting. Third is, how do you apply advanced data to building and executing a campaign? We'll talk about data here in a little bit as well, but there should be really no confusion on how this is happening. It should be clear and easily understood. How you're identifying a data set, how an index is calculated, and also how post-campaign results are defined. All very, very important for agencies and advertisers to have a clear understanding of how this is being done. The fourth is, if we're calling ourselves a programmatic company, there assumes there's some kind of automation. So our question to people who are coming in and talking about that space is, how many buyers do you have? The answer should really be none if you're a truly automated programmatic company. Fifth, do you have any inventory data bias? Programmatic platforms should be agnostic to what data and what supply is being utilized. We believe that a platform and agency need to sit on the same side table in order to work best for the needs of the marketers. These are all points we're talking about transparency, but I want to dig down into one that I think for this industry to continue to grow, we all need to collaborate just a little bit better on, and that's related to data. Very interested tomorrow to hear the conversations about the panels relating to data, because for television, some of the ecosystems that we're currently working in, it's kind of a new topic here in the last few years, and more companies have it. First party, second party, third party. Data is truly beneficial when you're helping to increase the value of the inventory. And by value, I don't mean just in terms of monetary, the value of who the consumers are that you're reaching. We also realized in terms of talking with our marketers that when we originally started Audience Express 5 years ago plus now, it's probably no surprise that we started off with a lot of DR advertisers. And as our footprint grew in those early years, brand advertisers started to come with it. And these brand advertisers brought very sophisticated data sets as we continue with this today. But what we also learned is something that John Travolta actually taught us as Robert Shapiro in The People versus O.J. Simpson. One size does no longer fit all. And what I mean by that is no longer at Audience Express as we get into 2017 and we begin to productize our offerings, no longer will a campaign that's goal is to have high frequency be treated in the same exact fashion that a campaign in which we're using complex data to find maybe a network day part intersection where age and gender historically wasn't targeting those folks and obviously targeting those consumers for the advertisers. And continually, as we move forward, Audience Express continues to want to make our priority tech and automation. As we move forward into next year, one of the things we're going to talk about is a lot more data targeting. The second thing we're going to talk about a little bit is adding buckets of inventory besides what our linear footprint is today. So I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to talk to you during lunch. I appreciate your attention. This was a lot better than I thought. I've seen a lot of eyes here, which is great. So if you guys had any questions, but before I do it, once again, I wanted to shout out to the MediaPost for bringing us all together in a room and collaborating, because only when we talk and have these open dialogues and we understand some of the pain points from some of our agency partners and advertisers will we continue to make this advanced TV world that we're all working in a little bit stronger. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Jeff, thank you. This guy should run for office. I think we could use a guy like you on the campaign trail right now. I'm not going to kid you. You pay people off, exactly. You pay people off. You fit right in. Anyone have any questions for Jeff? Just, I mean, you know, we're a tight-knit group. You can always grab Jeff later. If you have any biting questions now about the platform or about what they're doing, let me know. If not, Jeff, you're here with the team. Raise your hand if you have, show us your hands, Audience Express, just so we see you're here. All right. So a couple of folks here. Grab these guys at cocktails or at dinner tonight. And Jeff, thank you very much for doing that and appreciate the support. Not only Jeff, but also SimC that stepped up late in the game to support the event as well. We'll be doing this event again in June. My bad. April, that's right, at Captiva Island. That's a done deal. I forgot about that. Yeah, Captiva Island. So mark your calendars for that. It's an amazing location. And we hope to see, all of you again there in April as well. Okay, so tonight's activities, everybody knows what you're doing. You've got horseback riding, you've got hiking. That's going to take at 2 o'clock. We're going to meet out front of the hotel where the valet is, and you guys can go your separate ways. And then if you want to join Pam and Ken out on the lake, Ken will... Yeah, Ken will pedal. He'll pedal the whole time. He'll do it. And then tonight, cocktails, 6 o'clock, right behind us here on the terrace, facing the hills. And then dinner shortly thereafter in the West Dining Room, which is downstairs next to the bar, the only bar in the resort. So that'll happen at around 7:30. Yep, somewhere in there. Okay, sure. All right, thanks a lot for a great morning. Again, Jeff, thank you so much for closing it down for us today, and we'll see you guys after a great afternoon and tonight. Thank you.